Good evening. Welcome to the Municipality of South Dundas Council meeting for Wednesday, June 10th, 2026 with council team, staff, guests, visitors, and everyone watching online. Item number one, I'd like to call the meeting to order. I have a resolution. Let it resolve that the June 10th council meeting of the Municipality of South Dundas now be opened at 5:59 p.m. Moved by Councillor Ward, seconded by Councillor Vino. All in favor? Carried. Confirmation of agenda, additions, deletions, or amendments. Clerk LeBrun.
Thank you, Mayor Broad. I'd like to add an item under delegations. We do have a youth recognition that we'd like to do tonight for Liza Mullins.
Very good. So added. Also under just boards and committees, the Economic Development Committee meeting last night ended up being canceled. We didn't have quorum, but we do have an update from the Dundas Farmers Association meeting from last week. So we'll put that in under 8B. Any other additions? Seeing none, I have a motion. Let it resolve the Council Minister at Dundas. Approve the agenda as amended. Moved by Deputy Mayor St. Pierre, seconded by Councillor Smith. All in favor? Carried. Item number 3, disclosure of pecuniary interest and general nature thereof. Councillor Smith.
Yes, through you, Mayor Broad, I have to declare on agenda item 6A, the CIP 2026 intake, as I am related to a...
Very good. Thank you very much. Seeing any others? Seeing none. Thank you very much. Adoption of minutes. Regular council meeting for May 27th. Any errors or omissions from the minutes? Seeing none, I have a motion to let it resolve to adopt those minutes. Moved by Councillor Ward, seconded by Deputy Mayor St. Pierre. All in favor? Carried. Okay, delegation. So pleased tonight to move along with another youth recognition night, and something I've been seeing posted over the last couple of weeks of an impressive young person in our community, and I'll pass it over to Clerk LeBrun.
Thank you, Mayor Broad. And I'd like to invite Eliza up to this podium here, if she doesn't mind, and have a seat. So Eliza is a student of Seaway District High School, and she has consistently achieved high grades throughout her high school career, demonstrating the kind of dedication and discipline that sets her apart. So it comes as no surprise that her classmates in her school community have chosen her to serve as the valedictorian of this year's graduating class. An honor that speaks not only to her academic excellence, but also to the respect and admiration of her peers. Eliza doesn't stop at the classroom door. This year alone, she's competed in basketball, volleyball, badminton, soccer, and baseball. And she didn't just participate, she excelled. In fact, very recently, Eliza was awarded MVP honors in both basketball and soccer, and the Coach's Award in basketball. And that wasn't enough either. She also was the recipient of the prestigious Irv Francis Award, an honor that recognizes students who demonstrate excellence across 3 pillars: athletics, academics, and sportsmanship. It's a fitting tribute to someone who brings her whole self into everything that she does. So beyond the field in the classroom, she also serves on both student council and the prom committee this year, always showing up for her school and her peers. This fall, Eliza will be taking her talents to the University of Ottawa, where she'll be pursuing her honors Bachelor of Science in Biology, with her sights set on becoming a high school teacher. Eliza, this community is cheering for you, and congratulations, and thank you for showing our youth what's possible.
Awesome. Awesome. Thanks for coming, Eliza. And she does all that, and she has a part-time job, because she sometimes serves me a coffee with a smile, so it's fantastic. Not anymore, but you... Okay, we'll go to the alibi now. So yeah, so with all that and part-time job to help those other things. Comments from the council team?
Yeah, thank you, Mayor Broad. A quick question for you. I just wondered if you've been in training for the graduation night.
No.
No. Well, as you know, it's probably going to be about 35 degrees. So you maybe start getting in a sauna, doing your speech, and then you'll be better prepared. But no, congratulations on all your accomplishments.
Now, I was just informed by Principal Trevor Holm that the air conditioning is up and running now in the high school. But until I sit through next, or 2 Thursdays from now, so graduation is 2 Thursdays from now, so I'll be on that stage and happy to hand out some awards and give a speech to the graduating class. But with that being said, Elijah, any comments? Or so what? Oh, sorry.
I thought you put your hand.
I was going to say
Yeah, no, for sure. I was just gonna say, so why biology? What's the interest in biology?
I took biology in grade 11 and 12, and I just absolutely loved it. I had an amazing teacher, Lindsay Kennedy, and she really knows how to take the interest rate in it. So, yeah, I just really love it, and I love anything science. Very interesting, and yeah, I love applying it to the world too.
Right on. That's awesome. If you may, many years ago, Mr. Gowanlock, who recently passed, that's Pam Mullen's dad, was my biology teacher at North Dundas, and he was an amazing teacher. When you have an amazing teacher,
It really does wonders.
it does wonders for sure. Councillor Ward.
Here, I was just going to say, kudos to you for not only doing all the things you do at your school, but for the community and for all the students that are in your school, and obviously they very much appreciate everything you do, and that's kudos to you, but also, you're going to give back and become a teacher, and then hopefully you'll have the same, I don't say hopefully, you will have the same impression, I'm very certain, on other children, and kudos to mom and dad too for raising such a great human, and thanks for being part of our community. So way to go, and good luck in your future endeavors.
Yes, I'm very blessed to be in this area as well. I go to a very small school, so the relationship with the teachers and the students is amazing. I couldn't ask for a better school or teachers, anything, even community. It's awesome. Very thankful.
Well, that's awesome. Well, we hope you go explore the world and come back to us someday.
Oh, definitely.
For sure. So with that being said, certificate of congratulations in recognition of your academic and athletic accomplishments to Eliza Mullen. Celebrating a scholar, an athlete, a role model. Your community is proud of everything you are and everything you will become.
Thank you very much.
Awesome. Just come forward from the TV here, and we'll get a picture. Council team, come on. Thank you very much. Okay, moving on to 6A, action request. ED 2026-02, Community Improvement Plan. Community Development Communications Coordinator, Tia Arende. Tia.
Thank you. Through you, Mayor Broad, the CIP Review Committee met on May 26th and is recommending the following 3 applications. We have to Amanda's Country Bakery, $734.50 under the signage and awning grant for the addition of a sign out front to kind of point people in the direction a little bit better. Secondly, to Williamsburg Pump Supply and Service, $2,000 under the facade grant for some exterior repairs and improvements. Third, to Harbor's Flame Center, we have a $20,000 commercial improvement loan. They're relocating, and so that'll help with their renovations and facade improvements as well. The 2 grants total $2,734.50 against the approved $10,000 CIP budget. The remainder will hopefully be used during our second intake, which is now open and runs through July 8th, and the loan has no impact on the approved budget. Happy to answer any questions if council has any.
Very good. Questions, comments? No? Hopefully you fill up the second intake as people hear about this and as you continue to talk to businesses. So I have a motion. Let it be resolved that the Council of Municipality of South Dundas approve the following commercial building improvement applications as recommended by the South Dundas Community Improvement Plan Review Committee. Amanda's Country Bakery, $734.50 for signage and awning grant. Williamsburg Pump Supply and Service, $2,000 facade grant. Harbor's Flame Center and Masonry, $20,000 commercial improvement loan. Moved by Deputy Mayor St. Pierre, seconded by Councillor Ward. All in favor? Carried. Okay, moving on to action request 6B, PE 2026-06, approved preliminary design concept, Sunshine Sky. CO DeHaan.
Thank you, and presenting on behalf of Ms. Moran this evening, who unfortunately couldn't be here. Just in terms of what we're looking for from council this evening is essentially preliminary approval for Sunshine Sky to go ahead with their design work. They're at a stage now where they want to engage their designer, start working through the technical elements of the concept that they showed us during the meeting the last time we met. And really what we're recommending is absolutely let them do that. We've had, as council is aware, we've had our preliminary discussions with the proponents of this subdivision. We've talked about some of those challenging elements of the design from an operational perspective and are happy with how they continue to acknowledge those concerns and address them at a high level. Again, once the engineering is when the rubber really hits the road. So, but what we'd like to do, if council's supportive, is give them that authorization, because what will happen is then they start working through the design. On paragraph 8 of the report, it does outline what's different in terms of the design or this process compared to a standard subdivision where, they're given the design, the developer's given the design guidelines, just follows those design guidelines, because we are varying from it. And what we'll see before we actually get to subdivision approval stage is actually them providing us a detailed report outlining their design standards versus what we have and how they're addressing some of the challenges associated with those variations to it. So we look forward to working with it. I think it's a very interesting concept, and I do appreciate the approach they're taking and in trying to market something that's a little bit different. So with that, I'll leave it with council to consider.
Thank you, CO DeHaan. Questions, comments? Deputy Mayor?
Yeah, thank you, Mayor Broad. This is a little bit unusual of a process, but I can kind of understand why they would want to get a little bit of a buy-in. This is a project with significant density, and for us to lead them down a path of we like it, and then all of a sudden we don't like it, I think is a little bit unfair. I think at the end of the day, they need to, and you guys need to, in terms of staff, need to ensure they're still meeting somewhat of a standard that is that you guys can adhere to and adopt, because at the end of the day, you guys will, or we as a municipality will own the roads and operate and maintain and snow plow and garbage pickup and all that good stuff. So it has to be a right fit for you guys as well. I think we've asked some pretty good questions. I know Councillor Smith has asked some good questions on transportation. I know I've asked some good questions probably on engineering, civil engineering, and the network of the roads. I think that's what we're here for. We're here to set development up. We're here to encourage housing. We're in here to encourage commercial, industrial, and open the doors for that. After that, the finer details really sits between developer and staff, and for us just to kind of go through the different processes, through the draft plan process, through the subdivision process, agreement process, to ensure that it is the right product at the end. But yeah, no, I'm in full support of this for this initiative. Thanks.
Very good. Yeah, and I think just add on to Deputy Mayor's comments, publicly, how they advertise or state that. I'm not going to put any words in their mouth, but it'll be interesting to see the type of resident that may be attracted to that, and it may be a different resident or something that our community is looking for as we start down this path and we start to really see what it looks like and how that goes. So I'll leave it for them, but it could be a segment of the population that this fits into versus other proposals or buildings or subdivisions we have on the go. So we'll see how this kind of transpires as we move along. So yeah, so I'm in full support to keep letting them move ahead. As we see, it does take many years for these things to move along, and not saying anything slow, but that's just the way it does happen. So we continue down that path. I have a resolution. Let it resolve the Council of Municipality of South Dundas support in principle the preliminary design concept for Sunshine Sky subdivision as presented at the May 27th, 2026 council meeting. Moved by Deputy Mayor St. Pierre, seconded by Councilor Vino. All in favor? Carried. Thank you very much. And moving to 6C, TS 2026-06 pre-budget approval, single axle chassis tandem axle plow. Director of Transportation, Jeff Hyman.
Thank you, Mayor and Council. So in front of you, you'll find the report for consideration for the pre-budget approval of a single axle chassis and a tandem axle plow, which would be a complete order. So the pre-budget approval would be strictly to ensure us a build spot so that we could receive the plows within the 2027 fiscal year. The units for replacement will be units 76 and units 68, 76 being a single axle and unit 68 being a tandem plow. So staff or myself, we're proposing to continue with the refurbishment program where we'll take the hardware and the harness off of unit 76 and we'll get it sandblasted, replaced, new oil pumps, hoses, bearings, wherever needs be, and that would be installed on the new single axle. And then likewise, the tandem would be a complete order. So that would be when it shows up to the municipality, that truck will be ready to plow. With the pre-budget approval, this will allow the municipality to tender both units with a delivery date of 2027. So all we're doing is ordering, and then it would be brought forward with the pricing for council's approval in July. Then the order would be placed. There is build slots right now for Q4, so we're talking October, November, December to be built and then received after January 1st, 2027. Whenever that, in speaking with a couple of suppliers, we're talking probably February, March for the tandem axle, and then just by the time that they sandblast the frame and chassis, or the frame, sorry, and installed on the new chassis, we're probably the same timeline for the single axle as well. So there was $300,000 budgeted in 2027 for the replacement of unit 76 and $460,291 for the replacement of unit 68. Once tendering process is complete, staff will then present to council for your approval to move forward in the process. So I can answer any questions which you may have at this time.
Very good. Seems like the supply chain lead time is still about the same. We haven't seen an increase, maybe a little shorter, but still at that about almost a year from order to kind of delivery time. We do everything. So, yep. Questions, comments this time? Councilor Vino?
Just one. Yep, through you, Mayor. So you mentioned that the build slots are Q4 this year, so that means it'd be a model 2026. So the reason I bring that up is 2027 is the new carbon emissions standards. So a lot of companies are pre-buying right now to get 2026 builds so that you're not into the new emission standards. They come with a $30,000 R&D fee per truck and untested equipment. So that's why I ask if they're going to be built in 2026, because then it's a good thing for the municipality to be
Beyond that schedule.
getting away from the buying one in 2027. So then you buy in 2028 and somebody's already been the guinea pig on that new technology. So
Right on. Okay.
yeah, that's good.
Good. Good question. Awesome. Yeah, Councilor Smith?
Yeah, through Mayor Brad, were both of these trucks already on the fleet schedule to be replaced in 2027, or did we move one up a year?
Through you, Mayor Broad, no, both are scheduled
They
to
both
be.
were
Yeah,
scheduled.
whenever we purchased the last single axle that we're waiting to come in, I stated in the report that the next truck would either be 76 or 79, depending on repairs needed. They're all scheduled within that same 2027, 2026, 2027 year. So both of these vehicles fall within the fleet replacement.
Okay, so yeah, and just to follow up to that, I know you guys have heard me talk about not spending the next council's money, but just, I hadn't thought about the emissions issues and the increase in price in trucks that Councillor Vino mentioned earlier, and if we potentially have to spend, say, another 40, 50,000, say we waited until the 2027 budget gets passed in January, I'm assuming it would be January of 27-ish, and then order, so then we would be looking at an October of 27 delivery, approximately, which would put us right into the thick of the new emission standards. So that's, yeah, so we're saving money doing this now. Okay.
Okay, thank you. Okay, I have a motion. Let it resolve the Council of Municipality of South Dundas provide a pre-budget approval to purchase a single axle chassis and tandem axle plow truck to replace units 76 and 68, and that the cost for purchasing the plow accessories attachments be brought forward during the 2026 capital budget deliberations. Moved by Councillor Vino, seconded by Councillor Smith. All in favor? Carried. Okay, bylaws, 7A, 2025-53 52, Administration Monetary Penalty System, AMPS, update. Clerk LeBrun.
Thank you, Mayor Broad, and through council. The bylaw before you tonight is really a housekeeping item. Our AMPS bylaw needs to be updated to include our updated clean yards schedule that we amended earlier this year, as well as the park use bylaw. So the amendment before you is simply adding these schedules to our AMPS bylaw. Happy to answer any questions council may have.
Questions? Councillor Smith?
Yeah, through Mayor Brown, I'm trying to find the page right now. It was on the park use bylaw. Maybe somebody can, what page am I on here? It's the last one. Animal 47. There we go. So at number 19, if anybody wants to go look at number 19, it says things that are prohibited. Operate a bicycle in a park. And so I know that there's a sign at the waterfront park here in Morrisburg right now. It says that you're allowed to have a bicycle on the path. But now, does this mean that any bicycle cannot go in any park, like a baseball diamond or anything? Like, does this include every park? Like, does this one seems kind of redundant?
I think we'll take a quick look at the bylaw because we've got to go back to the original bylaw.
Okay.
I know something we had. So yeah, go ahead.
I was sorry to interrupt, CO Dahan, but the AMPS bylaw schedule is also short form wording. So if you give me a second, I'll get the actual provision
Okay.
of that bylaw,
Okay.
and it will give us some clarity exactly what that means. Just give me 2 seconds.
And I know that this question had kind of come up in the office, and we do have Mr. Turner here who can kind of speak to this. That's his department. So if you want to add anything, please do. My understanding in terms of the and how this is, bikes are allowed on the paths and pathways. The intention of that part of the bylaw, from my understanding again, is that you want to make sure that you don't have people being a nuisance with their bicycle while people are enjoying grassed areas. And the idea of a kid picking up a bike from a picnic when where they're picnicking and biking to the pathway and not interfering with anybody, that's not something that I would imagine our enforcement would like that. It's
not the spirit.
It's not the spirit of what the
of it,
intention. Right. The spirit of that is really to grab the nuisance. Do you want to? Yeah. Tyler, do you mind?
Good evening, Andrew Turner, Chief Building Official. Just a quick comment. The definition for a bicycle these days with MTO, et cetera, and the police includes bicycles that have motors. So I
Okay.
think part of the intent with that is,
E-bikes.
yeah,
Yeah, okay.
it's like an e-bike thing.
Okay.
Where it's just gonna cause a bit more of a hazard to people in grassed areas or whatever, rather than a regular, manually operated bicycle.
Okay.
Thank you.
And while you're looking that up there's another one I was wondering about as well, is number 21, where it says permit cause or allow fishing from land, dock, or pier. So I know that we had a social media post, I think it was about like no fishing. And so I just wondered if it could be maybe made more clearer where exactly, so I think this is going to be just more or less for Morrisburg waterfront, where exactly are we allowed to fish in Morrisburg and where are we exactly not allowed to fish in Morrisburg? Because I know that Morrisburg waterfront is fairly popular for fishing.
Yeah. Do you want me? I'll do it. Okay. So that's coming from 11.8 of that bylaw, and really, it's pretty clear in the bylaw for sure that no one can fish from like a dock, a pier, or similar location where signs are posted. So if there's no signs posted, people are allowed to fish.
So the sign. So to be clear, I read the sign. The sign says no fishing from on the beach, and no fishing in the boat launch area, which is exactly the intent of what
Yes.
we want. You can fish from the dock, the pier, the water, the rocks. You can fish all those areas. So the sign is very clear. It says no fishing on the beach, which is the sanded area where people are swimming, and no fishing where people are launching their boats.
So the entire boat launch dock, you could not fish
No,
from?
You can't fish where you launch a boat.
Okay.
And that's the interior area of the dock. You can fish,
On the outside.
if you want to fish on the dock south,
On the outside.
That's not a boat launch.
On the riverside.
Correct.
You could fish on the riverside. You could
Correct.
not just, okay.
yeah, the intent is for all the people that are in that square, right, that they're not fishing.
Okay. So this came up, so I just
Yeah,
wanted,
no,
I just
no,
wanted to
it's-
just get it clear as to exactly what was permitted and what was not permitted, that's all.
And they're allowed to fish on the piers.
Yeah,
They
well,
look
that's
at- they
the-
look at piers.
because the bylaw 10.8 doesn't, if we were to post it no fishing, then we couldn't. But it's not posted no fishing.
Okay,
Yes,
So it's only posted no fishing at the beach and in the boat launch.
okay.
the spirit is we're not hooking people that are in places where people are probably are
Okay.
Standing.
enjoying themselves. Yeah.
Okay. Okay.
Very good. Okay, awesome. No good questions, because, yeah, we want to be clear on that for sure. Any other questions? Seeing none, I have a resolution that the Council of Municipality of South Dundas adopt bylaw number 2026-52, updating the penalty schedule in Dundas Administrative Monetary Penalty System, and that bylaw 2025-80 be repealed. Moved by Deputy Mayor St. Pierre, seconded by Councillor Ward. All in favor? Carried. Thank you for that. Okay, moving right along to 8 boards and committees. DFA, so CO DeHaan and I traveled back to Chesterville last Wednesday night to be on the agenda for the Dundas Federation Farmers Association meeting. We were on their agenda. We talked about 7, 8 different topics, including what advocacy we're doing at the upper levels when it comes to agriculture in the rural communities. We talked about economic development planning, land use, so what kind of is going on in that area. We talked about infrastructure. We're paving village streets this year, not rural streets. We did touch base on the fire service because we had follow-ups from the last meeting about fire service. And then we talked about health and the community services, recreation. So we touched base on many great topics. They had a lot of questions, kind of once we went through all of our topics, some really good ones. And we talked about, infrastructure and the size of roads. And they're like, yeah, we have bigger equipment, but we also don't necessarily want bigger roads because traffic goes slow and there's all goods and takes and pros and cons and entrances. And there's just lots of conversations just in general about farm equipment and farmers using the activities. And I think they're really pleased on all the work we have done, pleased with the recruitment. I think the fire at the firehouse, so the increase in staffing, so that was good. And then we got into, they asked us to stay to be part of their resolution process for Alto, so the high-speed train, which is very interesting. So they had a resolution that they were bringing forward. They had some different options, and they discussed what they thought the resolution should be, and then they asked for our input and what we might be doing, and so we had a good conversation about that. But I will turn it over to CEO DeHaan to add on to that, and then kind of what we're thinking going forward.
Specifically for Alto, what I'll do is I'll bring a resolution for council's consideration at our next meeting. We're seeing our neighbors within the region pass resolutions of non-support for it. I personally, I guess just based on our last meeting, would also suggest we added a little bit of a South Dundas slant, just based on our experience with, I'm going to call it big federal nation building projects and what, the legacy of those types of projects long time after they're done. So that'll come at the next council meeting. And I know that DFA will be happy to hear that we're also supporting that as well.
Very good. Yeah. Anything else to add from the overall meeting?
No, I think you covered it all. It was a great discussion. Really happy to be there. We made the commitment to continue to try and come back. Unfortunately, their meetings are Wednesdays, and that often line up with these council meetings. So just finding one that's kind of off sequence to ours will probably be the biggest impediment to getting back there sooner rather than later.
Yeah, very good. Awesome. And then 8C, Rideau St. Lawrence AGM. So we had our AGM today. So there will be probably in our next agenda, they'll have the notes from the meeting, but just kind of the highlights from the Rideau St. Lawrence utility. So the utility we're 33% ownership in. It was hosted in South Dundas at Ross Video. So everybody was very happy with the location. They had to learn a lot about Ross, and we did a tour of Ross. So we had all the some members from Rideau St. Lawrence, and then some CAOs and councillors from across Prescott, Cardinal, and Westport all joined us. So that was great to host it in South Dundas. Some of the highlights from the chairman and the president. 2025, lots of growth. So some of the biggest growth seasons they've had in like 5 to 10 years. And a lot of it attributed to South Dundas with housing projects, the Seaway High School upgrade, the Safavia, Alanova. So that was great. And then when I mentioned it last meeting in Westport, the Waterworks subdivision going on. So that was a big thing. What's also driving this year's growth is the long-term care home at Prescott, the new grocery store, et cetera. So a lot of growth. So a lot more electrical needs, which is good and bad. So, which means more capital. So the more needs we have, the more capital we need. So the board has elected to not pay any dividends for the 2025 year, to reinvest that into the company for more capital. And a couple of reasons for that. It's our base rate application. So every 5 years, the utility gets to apply to the Ontario Electrical Securities to raise rates according to how much capital and the assets they have. So this is the year we make an application. The more you spend in capital, so the more you're improving infrastructure, then the higher the rate you have. So we've made that application. The intention still being, we believe, will still be below Hydro 1 rates when they finish their application. We don't know what that looks like yet, but we'll still be, from a ratepayer, we'll still be equal or definitely less than Hydro 1 owning the utility, with the opportunity for future dividends. What we do not know coming forward, and we had a small discussion about it, is the Pulse announcement's going to come later. So for any future capital calls for future capital investments for assets, we're not sure how that's all going to play out. The Ontario government has announced we need to double our hydro capacity, right? And we're not really sure how that's all going to happen. So just kind of more to come on that, and no specific announcement on that. We had the auditors there. We had a good audit. It wasn't Jamie. We had a new KPMP was the auditor, so it was a good audit. And yeah, I think that was about it. Anything to add? CEO DeHaan represented the shareholders. That was it. That was good. So it was a good meeting for sure. Was there any other meetings? Didn't have any for that time. Okay, under consent agenda, 9A, key information report, the office hours at Christmas. B, key information report, park use, fair vote, Canada. C, minutes from the South Nation Conservation Authority, AGM. D, Memo Bill 97, Amalgamation Conservation Authorities. E, Resolution Town of South Bruce Peninsula, affirming outdoor education, essential part of public education. F, Resolution Corporation of Calvin, request for provincial review of CVA-based appointment and shared municipal mandated services. G, Resolution Corporation Township of Baldwin, OPP services and unorganized territories. H, Resolution Township of North Glen area call to return property tax reassessment cycle. I, Resolution Township of Pushlish, support of Finley's Law on emergency room reform. J, Resolution United Counties of Leeds and Grenville, proposed harmonization of municipal roads construction standards. And K, Resolution Town of Parry Sound, request province consult prior to changing school board governance. I have a motion, let it be resolved that we accept all the items under the consent agenda. Moved by Councillor Ward, seconded by Councillor Vino. All in favor? Carried. Okay. Number 10, discussion items. Key information report, 2026 annual review assessment. Tyler Nelson. Welcome, Tyler.
Through you, Mayor Broad, I have a presentation prepared for you to review current asset management planning progress. I'll cover some of the major points from the document you received in this presentation. Starting in 2026, municipalities must complete annual reviews of asset management planning progress. The next item after that will be the policy review in 2029, and then the next full asset management plan in 2030. The next major project identified in the asset inventory is the Nash Creek or Calhoun Road Bridge. The 2025 OSIM report recommended replacement in 1 to 5 years, so 2026 to 2030, somewhere in there. For proposed levels of service review, I'll just touch on a few of the metrics. For bridges and culverts, both condition metrics are performing above proposed levels of service and projected to remain above proposed levels of service over the 10-year period. Under road network, South Dundas is sticking to the life cycle strategy implemented of asphalt resurfacing on previously surface treated roads. In 2025, approximately 10 kilometers of roads previously surface treated had been resurfaced with asphalt, so that metric has been updated. Pavement condition index is slightly below proposed levels of service at 53.4. However, we expect this to start trending upward in the next 10-year period with increased asset contributions and more frequent road needs data. So on to percentage of fire halls with health concerns or infrastructure deficiencies. This metric remains at 100%. Progress has been made though. In 2026, the removal and capping of the Watchtower project addresses safety concerns. However, this is not enough to impact this specific metric. It should also be noted that the shop ventilation project for Public Works garages was included as a capital project for 2026. Therefore, South Dundas is making significant efforts to address safety-related concerns across facilities. For the storm sewer network, currently no reliable data exists on whether the municipality's storm system can handle a major storm event. This was a concern, there were concerns about this in the last discussion from the last asset management deadline. So the recommendation here is to consider completing a proper engineering study to investigate the current storm system and to determine what year storm event it can handle. For vehicles, there's been no change to scope-related levels of service. I just have this included with the recent discussion on fleet. And for the water network, the number of connection days has increased since last year. However, this metric is expected to fluctuate from year to year, so it's not a guarantee that next year will be worse. So on to the financial strategy review. This table compares actual asset management contributions against annual requirement and target options from the last few asset management documents. So actual contributions consist of capital projects, contributions to reserves and reserve funds, debt charges, and more predictable grants, including OSIP and CCBF funding for capital projects. This year, our budgeted annual contributions were approximately 4.7 million. So recommendations for 2027, to be in line with our asset management planning, we should target 5.2 million to reach full funding in 15 years, as identified in the 2024 plan, or target 4.9 million to remain on pace with the projections identified in the 10-year capital plan. So 5.2 acts as the ideal target, and 4.9 is the more tempered minimal target. Addressing barriers. The two main barriers to implementation of asset management planning are data limitations and financial constraints. We've mostly touched on the financial recommendations, but an additional note for fleet, South Dundas should consider continuing accelerated contributions to reach full funding, the full funding target sooner given the shorter life cycle of vehicles. For data limitations, the municipality should consider investigating storm network through an engineering study, as mentioned earlier. We should continue to review and refine risk ratings, and we would like to implement updated asset management lists annually, specifically for directors for budget time. We've had major asset management deadlines almost every year since 2022 with this data, but since the next one isn't due until 2030, having this information updated annually should be very beneficial, which will also give staff an opportunity to provide feedback on condition or risk on the identified assets. So with that said, are there any comments or questions or comments?
Well, thanks, Tyler. Appreciate the update. A couple of comments just for me, and then I'll turn it over to the council team. Delegations, Good Roads, a municipality mayor told me they got shot down in their delegation for a request for money because they didn't have their 2025 update completed. So I'm glad to see the provincial government is using that metric as one of the metrics to get. So great job that South Dundas and yourself, Tyler, and the team, keeps on it and keeps updating it and keeps going. I think one of the key things. Very difficult to reach the targets, right? It's a lot of money, but I think a couple of things that's on us, the council team, the next council team, continue to drive growth, right? Because growth gives us the ability to, maybe put more into that plan without taking on more assets. So obviously with growth, if we take on assets, we have to put them into the plan. So growth without, growth bigger than the asset value, so we can have some more money to put away for it. That's great. And then secondly, continue to advocate for any dollar from, whether it's federal or provincial money to upgrade our assets, because that's just, if we got X amount of dollars to do a project, well, then that just puts that out, that lowers what we need to put in or spreads it out longer. So I think those are things that we continue to need to work on, advocate for, and do our best when we're doing all those applications. And I think all this data is good, right? And we can use it to show when we're lobbying ministers for more money. So very good. Thank you, Tyler. Other questions, comments at this time? Okay, awesome. That's good. We have moved through this agenda quickly. Notices of motion. Okay, we will move into closed session. So I'll just make my monologues, little speech, and then we'll come back online. Hard to believe. After tonight's meeting, there will be 5 regular meetings, an election, and then 1 final meeting of this council team. So we're closing to an end. And before we become lame duck, but I want to recognize one person and then a group of people. From the Morrisburg leader, Rebecca Comfort has been at every one of these meetings, unless a couple when she watched online, and continues to cover the council team, the activities, and the community, all the events, and appreciate everything you do for the community, Rebecca, and the stories and the editorials, and to make us think, and to get residents thinking. And I think it's really important. And I know we do talk, and we've talked at other summit days, that communities that don't have a newspaper, they lose that, right? And it's social media drives more of the conversation, where we could trust that things that you've written and your cohorts have written are very important to us. So I want to thank the Morrisburg leader and yourself for all the efforts you put in. Okay, with that being said, I have a motion that we move it in camera under section 239 at 6:40 p.m. To deal with potential litigation matters dealt by tribunals affecting municipal board. Moved by Deputy Mayor St. Pierre, seconded by Councillor Smith. All in favor? Carried. continuing along for Wednesday, May the 10th, 2026. I have a motion, let it be resolved that council reconvene at open session at 7:05 PM. Moved by Councillor Ward, seconded by Councillor Vino. All in favor? Carried. And I have a bylaw number 2026-54, being a bylaw to adopt, confirm, and ratify matters dealt with resolution, be read and passed, open, signed, and sealed. Moved by Deputy Mayor St. Pierre, seconded by Councillor Vino. All in favor? Carried. And we'll let it resolved that the South Dundas Council adjourn the call of the chair at 6:05 PM. Moved by Councillor Ward, seconded by Deputy Mayor St. Pierre. All in favor? Carried. And with that, we'll say goodnight from South Dundas.